Manny Pacquiao is coming back in June or July, according to him. He said the two people that he's looking at is, he said he's looking at fighting Earl Spence, and that if that's going to be the fight, they need to kind of get everything in sorts so he can start coming up with a game plan and training to face Earl Spence. He said a backup is Mikey Garcia, and if he was to fight Mikey Garcia, I would see it probably being on Fox pay-per-view. I don't see him going to the zone at all. I believe he still has one fight with PBC, and I think he's kind of trying to set up a long-term type of relationship with them, especially when it comes to his fighters that are coming up as well. Just don't see the zone thing happening whatsoever. But I believe the person that he probably is going to be fighting is Earl Spence, just due to the fact that the date that Earl Spence is fighting keeps getting kind of, pushed back a little bit. And Manny's fight date seems to be the same month as well. And I don't see them having two individual pay-per-views on the same particular month. Even though people are like, well, Wilder's supposed to be fighting Tyson Fury in July. I don't think those two are fighting in July. I think they're going to end up pushing that back to September. They about to. Canelo isn't fighting on the Independence Day on the Mexican holiday in September. He might not care because he's getting a check regardless. So forget I said that. But yeah, I see them pushing that fight back until September because they're not going to want to have another event. Those are two major events that would be happening in the same month, and some people that might buy the pay-per-view for the Manny Pacquiao fight might then not buy the pay-per-view for the Wilder fight. And Bob Arum ain't trying to lose no money, especially due to the fact that his side is going to be getting 60% of the of the revenue, and he's getting 30% of that. So he's good, So because of that, I think they'll probably end up moving that to September. But yeah, I believe that Manny Pacquiao is probably going to be fighting Earl Spence. He's looking at Earl Spence as somebody that he'll be fighting on this particular year. And I don't, the best time for him to fight him would be right now, coming off that major car accident. Not necessarily him knowing where he stands, himself, Earl Spence, whether it be physically or even mentally. This would be the time to do it. He's not going to wait until Earl Spence gets a fight underneath his belt and gets into the groove and gets, get things back together and then face him. I don't see him doing that. I see him taking him on next. So I believe that probably will be announced soon. Along with other fights. There's so many fights that are supposed to happen that we have no announcement for. The Teofimo Lopez versus Lomachenko. We still don't know about what's happening with that. We haven't heard anything about when Earl Spence is fighting or Manny Pacquiao is fighting. We don't know when wherever Terrence Crawford fights, that's the man right there. He's pound for pound number one in the world, but no one's going to give two ish about whoever he's fighting because it's not going to be no top guys. But yeah, we don't know when any of these, when especially those two major fights, when exactly they're going to happen. So, unfortunately, we're not seeing Taylor versus Ramirez isn't being set up, which would have been an awesome fight. Beterbiev versus Bivol isn't going to be set up, which would be an awesome fight. And it's also kind of funny how when it comes to certain promoters, when they have these major fights, in their hands and they don't set them up, there's no crying and bitching going on by the quote fans and the media. I find that interesting too. But yes, I see these two guys probably taking on each other in June, July. Manny Pacquiao, man, if he sees a little, situation, he usually pounces on it. Ricky Hatton loses to Floyd Mayweather. Okay, let me take on him. Shane Mosley loses to Floyd Mayweather and has a sketchy performance the next fight. Let me take on him. Miguel Cotto loses to Margarito. Okay, yeah, let's fight you, but let's fight you with a with a rehydration clause. That's what he does. He's done that a lot. He's done that a lot in his career. So I see him doing it in this particular situation as well. taking advantage of it. Especially also you up in age like that, you want the biggest fights. You want the absolute biggest fights that you could have. He's not a young fighter who's going to be able to go ahead and fight for the next 2-3 years or whatever it is. And a Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence fight, especially on Fox, the way they promote, I think that's a million pay-per-view fight. I think that's a million pay-per-view fight, and I think that's a substantial gate. You're talking about a young major star, taking on an icon in boxing. Errol Spence can hold 350,000 pay-per-views by himself. Manny Pacquiao can hold 450 to 700,000 by himself. So that combination together in a fight of this magnitude, it's a mega fight. As far as you could call mega fights now, I think it's a mega fight, and I think it does major numbers. And because of that, which means a lot of money, major cash, a lot of major money up front. This is probably a fight where I wouldn't be shocked if Manny Pacquiao was guaranteed $30 million for this fight. It's that type of fight where he's guaranteed $30 million and Errol Spence is guaranteed $20 million for this fight. It's a fight where, honestly, you look at the concessions, you look at the gate, you look at the merchandise that are sold, you look at people who are going to want to be part of this promotion, people that are going to be putting up money to have their products advertised. They're going to be putting up a lot of money. So due to that, I think this is the fight that gets set up next. And I think they take it because, Mikey, he had an okay performance. There's nothing spectacular about that performance, though. Nothing spectacular about that performance. There's nothing about that performance that makes people say, wow. Not to mention the person he had that performance against. It'd be different if he had faced somebody like a Danny Garcia, if he faced somebody like a Ugas and just ran through him or dominated somebody of that nature. Then it'd have been like, oh, okay. But having a close fight with Vargas, that's not going to cut it. So I say look forward to that announcement coming soon. Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence Jr. in a 50-50 fight. It's a fight that can go either way. We don't know where, despite what Errol Spence says, we don't know where he's going to be at. And Errol Spence is the best at the welterweight division, but it's not like he doesn't have this huge gap like, let's say, a Floyd Mayweather did. It's basically like this. He wins because of this. That's his gap when it comes to him and all the other welterweights. So if he's not there completely on point, he could easily lose against any of these guys. He could easily lose against Terrence Crawford. He could easily lose against Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, even a Keith Thurman, and even a Manny Pacquiao. So hopefully it is set up. It's a fight I'll be looking forward to. Too bad it won't be in the East Coast, but it is what it is. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.